Does anyone can ask this question? Don't be shy, guys.
Non-fungible tokens.
Non-fungible tokens. Yeah.
Yeah, non-fungible tokens. So basically, it's like there's a standards that says like these are the interface of basically like there's an ERC for NFTs, right? That describes what an NFT can do, just like our ERC, but with different interfaces.
Okay, so you're telling that NFTs are token standards similar to ERC20 standard that are the token standard that let you transfer NFTs.
Yeah.
Okay, but what are these NFTs used for? The question is correct, okay? But what are these NFTs used for?
I think to demonstrate the property of
Uh-huh.
a file.
The property of a file. Interesting. Okay, another one?
I think basically an NFT is data row of a database, let's say, and it can be like any input of any process. So it's like, yeah, just a database row that can be an input to any process with the trust, ownership, and so on. But it can, yeah.
Okay.
It can also be a variable as input to any process.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So you can transfer NFTs, which are representations of data. Okay. You can view and exploit. Okay. This is what is one of the use cases of the NFTs? The most used case for NFTs right now?
Speculation.
Speculation. Okay. And
Flexing.
excuse me.
Utilities.
Utilities. Okay. Do you have an example of utilities on NFTs?
Membership.
Membership. Okay, good. So membership or speculation means that people could use the data that represent that NFT to do stuff. Okay, in the Web 2, and this is how the people use NFTs. They have metadata inside that, and just that are visualized in an application, and you can see them and you can speculate on them and whatever. But do you think that the command doesn't, the remote world doesn't work? Is that all? So that a representation that can do something on the Web 2? Because you are talking about this. Okay, you can transfer them, but you are just transferring them because of the value that data represents. Okay, so the data represents. I think that this could be an use case, but you are focusing just on something which is off-chain, because NFTs are not metadata, because the rarity of an NFT is just inside a JSON, okay, and a data which is stored outside of the chain. So the NFT itself doesn't have any kind of use, if you think about it. Just the data there inside that are stored in a Web 2 data storage, like for example, OpenSea uses Google user content, which they pay. So the day they don't pay the storage anymore, you lose that NFT. But we want more from this because we are on-chain. And NFTs is not just Web 2 metadata links, okay? Because you cannot just transfer all the purpose of the NFT off of the chain. Let's try to remain in-chain the most as possible. As we said, NFTs are token standards. Particularly the ERC-721 and ERC-1155. So let's go deep into the on-chain technology. What are NFT standards? Okay, you have some functions like the transfer one we already described, which is called safe transfer from or safe batch transfer from in case of the 1155, which lets you transfer the NFTs, but there is more. Okay? Because if you did focus on the calls of the standards, we figure out that the calls have another parameter, called data. Okay? So we have who is the owner of the NFT, the recipient, the token ID, and the amount, for example, in case of 1155. Plus, you can also specify a bunch of data. Okay? And this is the most important part, according to me, because it lets you use NFTs not just for transfer or speculation, but also to do stuff. Because if you are able to use the data in the best way as possible, and you can do it, you can have more, you can achieve more from the NFTs. Let's make an example. For us, first of all, the keyword is interoperability. So NFTs are not just data representation, but they could be interoperable. They are utilities, okay? And in fact, in the ERC20 standard, before to use the token, for example, to add liquidity to an AMM, you have to do the approve call, and then call the contract that let do something for you, okay? And these are two calls. A lot of gas to spend because the procedure is extremely long. You can use the data payload of the NFTs. I will talk about the 1155 because it's the more complete from now on. Okay, we have 721 and 1155, but the 1155 is the complete one. So you can use in the same way 721 and 1155. But let's focus on 1155. In this case, for example, I can batch transfer multiple NFTs at the same time. Okay, and I can do also something with this transfer. Okay, so for example, let's say transfer this to my application and AMM, and do this stuff with the with these tokens I sent you. So not only just send, but send and do. Okay, for example, you can encapsulate inside the data, okay, the name of the method that is called when you transfer the data. So transfer the data, okay, and the contract says, okay, what should I do with these assets? Do this. Do your magic. Do what you are able to do. So no approve anymore, but also send and do something in the same transaction, in the same way, in just one place. And like for Ethereum, okay, smart contracts by default are not enabled to receive Ether. You have to implement a specific call inside the Ethereum smart contract, which is called fallback or receive, that lets you transfer Ether and plus do something. And you have to do something pretty similar for 1155 and 721 to transfer data. So you just insert this method inside your smart contract, which is the on received. So it is the callback, which is called when you receive the transfer. And what you do, just process the payload. So you pass your data inside the call of the transfer, and it is processed in the way you are, in the way you decided to write your smart contract. So you can have, for example, additional information about the transfer, what the method to call, what you have to do, and so on, in just one call. This is what we call interoperability. So not just transfer, but transfer and do something more. And this is the so this is the way we this is our meaning of NFTs, interoperability. Do something with the data, not just data representation, but also do your stuff in your own application. Is that all? Again, you can do something more with this. Okay, you have the data and you can describe the behavior of your smart contract through the calls you do. But it's not enough for us. So let's focus again on the standards. When you have a collection, okay, you have your NFTs in just one collection, which is one smart contract. So you have the address of the borrow dates, for example, or CryptoPunks, or whatever, and you can transfer or batch transfer your NFTs in just one call and do something. But what if I want to transfer at the same time multiple NFTs or multiple collections? You cannot do it in using the transfer call, because the transfer are just for single collection. And for this reason, we create item. Item is just, in a classic way, you have one smart contract, one collection. In item, you have one smart contract, multiple collection. So in item, it is a 1155 contract, which lets you create your own collections, okay, and your token IDs on top of that collection. What this means that when you use the same batch transfer from to your application, you can add the token ID from collection 1 and the token ID collection 2 transferred simultaneously in the same code and do the stuff you want at the same time. So it is more powerful, okay? Because you can transfer several things and do magic stuff. Even the applications are written by other people, because you have the collections and you have the way that your application use those collections. You're not to be the owner of the collection to create an application on top of that. You can do anything you want. Everybody can do it. Is that all? So, do you think this is enough? Let's focus again on the metadata. Metadata, as we said, are links that are stored inside a Web2 storage. What happens if this web storage goes down? You lose your metadata, okay? And it could be extremely dangerous for your applications, for your assets, okay? And for this reason, we created the dynamic metadata. Dynamic metadata, I don't know if you were in the previous in the previous presentation we made. Dynamic metadata are metadata which are drawn directly on chain, okay, like a web page, okay. Everybody has Facebook, okay. When I click home, I see the contents of my contacts. You see the contents of your contacts, okay. But the page is still the same. It's just about the data you input in your login and password, username and password, and see the images. So the page dynamically represents data basing on the context, basing on who you are, okay? And this is what dynamic metadata do. There is a resolver written by you that could take something from the Web 2 and something for the Web 3, for example, dynamically building them and put them together. So this means that the metadata evolves in time, if you want. So not just by a server on the Web 2, but also inside the chain. And I think that this is extremely important because, for example, let's say we have an item which represents characters, okay, made by me, and another one made stored in another collection. With items, you can combine them and obtain new data representation of those data, okay? So, for example, in my game, with my resolver on chain, this could be a sword, okay? Because I am in an adventure game, for example. But if I am in a cooking game, let's say, for example, Cookie Mama, okay, this could be represented as a teaspoon. Same ID, different purposes, always in one place, which is Ethereum. It's not just in the server anymore, but also on chain. It could be because the resolver automatically asks you, is this a regular link? Okay, we use the old-fashioned style of the metadata. Is this a smart contract? Okay, we can call it to automatically resolve them and have, of course, the dynamic metadata. Is that all? Yeah, we have OpenSea, we have Rarible about speculation we were talking about before. And you can buy and sell your NFTs through this market, which are prepared to receive and send NFTs. But what about other stuff already on chain like Uniswap, SushiSwap, or other application that runs ERC20s. You cannot interact with using through NFTs because they are not prepared. They are prepared. They are focused on ERC20 standard. Okay. And for this reason, while every 1155 is just a collection of NFTs, every token ID in item is at the same time 1155 and ERC20. So you can use it as an ERC 1155 or ERC20. You can transfer them in ERC20 way, and you automatically transfer also the 1155. And you can choose what this means. You, for example, can buy your tokens, your items on Uniswap and sell them on OpenSea, for example, and so on. You can do several stuff like this. Okay? For example, in our interface on the EthereansOS interface, we have this combined market, which lets you use the AMM you want, buy it, and then prepare the order on the other one, on the OpenSea, for example. This is the real power of interoperability, because the two worlds are now merged in just one. Okay? And the possibilities increase, of course. Is that all? So you have to create your own item collection, let's say, okay? But what about all those important NFT collection already created, like Bored Apes, like CryptoPunks, CryptoKitties, whatever? EthOS, which is our token, OS, the token of our governance, is a native item, so it is 1155 and ERC20 at the same time. Bored Apes, the association CryptoKitties are simple NFTs. So are they cut off from this world? No, we want to use them because they are important for the ecosystem and for people. And for this reason, we created Decks. Decks are just items that let you wrap your previously created NFTs, okay, and wrap them into items. And so you can use them like items. And you can, for example, in the association NFT case, okay, you can use as they are items. And you can buy and sell them directly through the, for example, in Uniswap, and then unwrap them to obtain the original NFT. Because you can wrap them and obtain the ERC21, sell or buy from the chain, and then sell again on OpenSea in the same time. Okay? Is that all? So now try to think about an application that could use this. We imagined one that now I show you, which is called Presto. What is Presto? Presto is the way we use to directly sell your NFTs, for example, on the Uniswap AMM or Balancer or SushiSwap AMMs, directly having the original NFT. So Presto is an application that wraps your NFT into a deck, then automatically sell it in Uniswap or in your chosen AMM. Or if you have Ethereums, okay, and the price of your NFT is less into Uniswap and more on OpenSea, you can buy the deck on Uniswap and then unwrap it to obtain the original NFT. Okay? Is that clear? Do you want me to re-explain it? Okay. So now we are going to, I'm going to show you how we make Presto. Just go deep in the code. Okay. Okay. Not this one. Okay. Presto, okay, is an application, okay, enabled to receive ERC721 and ERC1155 tokens. Okay, so let's try to sell my NFT on Uniswap, okay? I transfer it to Presto, okay? Providing the data on what to do with this NFT. What I have to do, I have to sell it on an AMM. So payload will contain all the data that let me do something with this NFT, as I already said. Let's see what they do. Okay, so the data contains, okay, the payload of the data contains the operation I have to do on the AMM. So the Presto operation, okay, contain what is the input token address to sell, what is the AMM I have to use, and what is the liquidity pool I will use to swap my NFT, okay? And plus other several information, for example, for slippage or whatever. And for example, multiple receive. So if I choose to send to sell my NFT and send the ethers to 3 addresses, I can do it. So wrap the NFT, send to Presto, wrap the NFT, sell it, receive Ethereum, and send those Ethereum to several addresses, all in just one transaction, all in just transferring the NFT, okay? And in fact, this is what it does. Yeah, so let's prepare the Presto operation, okay? So we receive the data from the user, but they could be tricked. For example, it is the first time we create the deck of that NFT. So the first thing I do is to call the item main interface. Let me just here, okay. The first thing I do, I call the deck wrapper of this, in this case 1155, okay. How I can wrap the NFT index? Again, sending it. So I prepare the data that tells me where are those? Here, okay. So I have the original NFT in Presto. I have to receive the deck one. So I call the deck wrapper of item that let wrap the token and send you again the deck item, which is both ERC20 and 1155. And when I receive it calling the deck wrapper, I can obtain an amount that I can sell on my AMM, because it's not just Uniswap or whatever. You can choose which AMM to use. And what this do? Sell after wrap. Okay. Do the old-fashioned approve, because now we have DEX. DEX are ERC20. Uniswap or AMM needs approve, I have to do it. But I have to do it in just one transaction because I'm starting from the NFT, okay? So, wrap the NFT, send the NFT, wrap it, receive DEX, then call the Presto UniV3 interface, which just grab your ERC20 token from you because you made the approve, and send you the ethers directly to the receivers you provided. So, for example, you have to pay someone and you don't have ethers, but you have the NFT. Just put the NFT you want to sell, the receiver which will receive the ethers. So I'm not forced to receive it by myself, by my own, and then send it to the person I have to pay. For example, it is always everything is automatic in just one transaction with costs, okay, but it lets you save a lot of time.
Where does the liquidity come from?
The liquidity comes from the AMM. So
of the NFT.
The deck version of the NFT, because the NFT is, of course, so you cannot have liquidity about that on Uniswap. So you wrap it in deck, okay. Then you add liquidity in the For example, in your pair, ERC20 and Ethereum, because at that time it is the NFT became ERC20. You have ERC20, you put liquidity in your AMM, Balancer, Sushi Swap, whatever, Moonswap, and you have the pool created on that. Okay? And so, people who previously wrapped DEX, okay, provides the liquidity inside it. Of course, if you don't have liquidity, you have to have liquidity before to do it. But yeah, it's just it's how AMMs work. Okay. And this is what I do when I have to wrap NFT and receive Ethereums directly. So we combined several different applications, okay? Because there is the AMM who doesn't know how NFT works. There is the deck wrapper who doesn't know what I have to do with that receiver wrapper tokens, okay? Presto is an application on top of both, okay? And you can combine it and do what you want, just without knowing all the projects, all the stuff, and whatever. Okay? This is what we do to wrap NFTs and receive Ether. But what if we want to buy an NFT on Uniswap? You can do it the reverse stuff. So, call the method of Presto called buy and unwrap. Okay? Just providing the operation you have to do, buy this deck for Ethereum. So send with the data you send. Of course, the call is payable. When the call is payable, means that you have to send Ether. Okay, and Presto do the magic for you. Does the magic for you? Sorry. Yeah, it prepares all the data. Okay, you pass what is the NFT you have to sell, because it is into the operation. Prepare the data, call Presto selling Ethers. Presto will receive the deck, okay, the deck item of your NFT, and you just call the burn batch, in this case, method of the deck wrapper that lets you burn the deck version of the NFT and gives you back the NFT. And then it is sent to the deck wrapper does the operation for you, because when you provide the burn batch call, which is not in this 1155 standard, it is a kind of addition on the 1155 standard, but you also again provide the data on what to do with after the burn. So it burns the tokens, and in the payload is written how to receive back the NFTs and who will receive back the NFTs. Okay, and after that, okay, I control if everything is okay. So, for example, if you send me more Ethers than the ones needed to buy, I give you back. Or if you are, or if the burn amount you send wasn't more than what you needed to receive back the original NFT, I give you back. And this is what works. How can you use this? You can use it like this. DEX are ready, although DEX are ready for, they are up and running, we haven't already developed it on our main interface. But for you, we developed a fork of our interface just for the spaghetti event, and we decided to call it fettuccine, which is another kind of spaghetti. Fork. Okay. So what I am supposed to do? Now I am in the web page of the deck representation of the association NFT, NFTs by MBA. Okay. So the deck item, okay, are in this deck, okay, are now wrapped these NFTs. These are original NFTs, okay? I can choose this and this, for example, and it says that if I want to buy it on Uniswap v3, it costs me 0.49, okay? So I just click buy, the transaction will start, I will send to the Presto contract the Ethereum and receive back these two NFTs. I just can say, again, is that all? Actually for us, yes, but not for you, because we provided a grant, and we want you to imagine how a DeFi application built on top of items could be. So we would like you to experiment with the DEX through our documentation, which is already online, how DEX works, how items works, and how you can create applications like Presto, which I remember, because we did it, this is not means that we were the only who could make it, because it just uses different protocols wrapped into a new one, brand new one. Like we imagine how items would be used in the future by you.